Afternoon. Okay, we just got some news. Well, some other news that wasn't. It's not higher education. It's more. Jerome Powell just said something about unemployment rates could climb to the highest. I believe something like that. On the sidebar. Well, yeah, good afternoon, everybody. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. As we set up. Let me set everything up. Let's drive on. Yes, we are live. I hope y'all week went well. Hope y'all weekend was good or is good. It's still the weekend till tomorrow. So I hope y'all weekend is going well. It's a smooth day today. We didn't get the live stream Friday. Why didn't we live stream Friday? Jam, traffic, went to work. I talked to my sister for like 4 or 5 hours. That's why. And I don't usually get to talk to my sister for 4 or 5 hours, so I took that in. I was living in the moment then, right then. So I took advantage of that. Let me set up. Where's my... Oh, there it goes. I was like, where is it? So I can say this real quick. I don't got nothing in my cup. Disclaimer, the videos presented here are for informational purposes only, and therefore, if you are to choose to attend the institution, please do your own research and consult with a specialist at the institution you are interested in. I am not a financial aid specialist, academic advisor, or representing any institution. Speaking on behalf of Creator, Henry is only speaking from his experience. And disclaimer, I'm not a financial advisor. I have to always throw that in there. Okay. Yeah, we're good. Hopefully you can hear me. Let me make sure you can hear me. Yeah, you can hear me. Just want to make sure. Okay. So the first story is Villanova. If I'm not mistaken, Villanova University did a cruel hoax. I don't know who did it. I was gonna stream this. I think this came out like on Friday, if I'm not mistaken. I was gonna stream and talk about it. Probably like Thursday or something. But it was one of them days. But Villanova did hoax. So a hoax, I Googled a hoax to make sure. And so, because I was like, let me make sure I'm looking at the right thing. And a hoax is when something is not true, pretty much. But I'm going to give the proper definition. I was like, a hoax? What's going on? And then it was based on an active shooter. So somebody, I believe, pranked that they had an active shooter on the Villanova campus. And I'm going to explain why this is important, of course, why it relates to us as students, right? Hoax. A humorous or malicious deception. Exactly, a joke. But a very cruel joke. And that actually came from the president saying it was a cruel joke. So I'm gonna get a story. Well, first I'm gonna get the message from the president first, which is on the Villanova website, the school website, Villanova University. And if we all know Villanova University, I'll be honest, the only reason I know Villanova is because they have a very good basketball program. That's the only reason I know about Villanova. I don't know them for anything else. I don't know if they're prestige or none of that. But we're gonna find that out. We might do a review at the end for them. So on August 21st, 2025, yeah, I knew it happened during the week. August 21st, 2025. Why does my screen look like that? Is it zoomed in? Yeah, I like zoomed out a little bit. Dear members, and I quote, this is the president, or this came from the president's office, president of Villanova University, Peter M. Dunhay. Just butchering their last name. I stay doing this. But Donhu. I'm going to say Donhu. We'll worry about that at the end. But it's Peter M. Donhu. And you can Google the president at Villanova University and they'll pop up. It says, "Dear members of the Villanova community, today as we are celebrating orientation mass to welcome our newest Villanovians and their families to our community, panic and terror ensued with the news of a possible shooter at the law school. Mercifully, no one was injured, and we now know that it was a cruel hoax. There was no active shooter, no injuries, and no evidence of firearms present on campus. While that is a blessing and relief, I know today's events have shaken our entire community." All right, the first line. All right, the fact that they really thought a campus shooter was on the campus, not campus shooter. Yeah, you can say campus shooter, but an active shooter was on the campus says a lot about safety, for one. And I know everybody wants to stay on campus at a college, stay in the dorms, get the meal plans, enjoy college life, right, or whatever like that. Like, I have a different perspective on that. The fact that you really thought you wasn't safe at new student orientation, that's all I need to know. I could do my new student orientation from the phone. I just watch y'all because y'all apparently don't have no security intact for real. So just keeping it in mind, the president probably make millions of dollars or close to $1 million, FYI. As a matter of fact, on the sidebar, let me go look at how much the president made. That is might as well, right? Might as well have a cat. Somebody I know used to say that all the time, guys, and they used to wear that out. So Peter, let's see. Right here. One of the ones you gotta find. That might be right here. The Villanovian. This was back in 2009. So it says right here, this is about the Villanovian, a student run since 1916. This is about the University of Villanova. This is their journalism press, media press. This is based off January 26, 2009 by Dana Amorosano. And quick, just to give you a brief context of this was back in 2009. But many university leaders have recently received compensation in the range of $1 million. In 2006, Johns Hopkins University President William Brody earned $1.06 million. It says public college leaders have also partaken in the presidential salary spike. So, just for example, no numbers, just that quick context, I will take it. And it's kind of hard to find that president Villanova salary. So, that's what we're going to do. We're not even going to trip. I'll get to the story. We'll find it later. I will find it. And so, no safety. They thought a campus shooter was on campus. A lot of people were scared, and there's more news to it. Right now, we are just reading that first paragraph. Let's go to the second one. I would like to thank everyone involved in securing the safety of our community, especially our Villanova Public Safety Department and the first responders from Radnor Police and other local police departments. I would also like to thank, so you're just thanking, they're just thanking. And they said, amid my thanks, they said, I would like to apologize to our first year students and their families. This is not the introduction to Villanova that I had hoped for you. And while I cannot do anything to relieve the unrest that you are feeling right now, I can offer a prayer. As generations of Villanovians know, this prayer is how I close orientation mass each year. Since we were interrupted today, I would like to offer it now. Whomever you are with, I ask that you reach out to them and repeat after me. They say the prayer. They say if you have questions in the coming days and weeks, they will share as much information with you as they can. But for now, I'm thankful everyone is safe. President Peter M. Donahue. I think it's Donahue. So, that was that. And students are not really safe when they go to campus. I don't know why. I really don't know why. Because they have polices, but I don't think really campuses have, like, college campuses have enough police on staff. And so, let's go get some news. Let's get the inside scoop. Because some stuff was posted 2 days ago. And 3 days ago. So we'll look through these little news outlets, and then we'll go from there. But that was what the president said. Because imagine being your first year on campus. It's about to be your first year of school, and your school has a hoax, a cruel joke about somebody with a most likely, semi-automatic rifle or anything to harm people. But I just can't get over the fact that they're not, I just feel like they need more safety. Because this right here, the fact that it's just like, you can't play this down. Like, this is kind of serious. Like, what if it was real? And as a student, I'll be paranoid to go to their school because they joking about it. And it's like, yeah. So I'm pretty sure it was a student. 9 times out of 10, it's a student. Or it could have been somebody who just don't like the school. But if that's how y'all like to play, guess y'all didn't do y'all full research on the area. Because you should look into the areas. It's very, like, this right here. Like, I'll give it like another week or 2 weeks. If you type in Villanova University, depending on the PR team, I'm pretty sure this won't pop up no more. And you just really have to dig, like really dig if you want to find things like happening. Like, even though this wasn't real, it's just still safety concerns to me. Like, I probably would have pulled my kid out of school and just sent them to tried to send them to another school, like a 2-year for the school year until these universities could get right, because they could be better safe at home with me than in the hands of someone else. And I think a lot of people should keep that in mind. So right here, this is by ABC Action News. I think ABC Action News 6, ABC. This was posted by Taronda Thomas. Villanova University hoax, college sought by FBI, local authorities. So, as we go further into this, things are back to normal after a call reported an active shooter caused chaos on Villanova University campus. Delaware County District Attorney Jack Stolzheimer said Governor Josh Shapiro is offering state resources as federal authorities join the search for the person behind the hoax. People have to understand that this is not a joke, said the township police superintendent. They said the false report came in around 4:30 p.m. Thursday, just as new students were attending an orientation mass. Villanova senior Ava Pershkowski, there we go. Ava Pershkowski was part of a group singing at the ceremony when she saw people in the crowd begin to run. Honestly, at that moment, I thought I'm going to die. She recalled Pershkowski. I'm definitely looking this name up. I feel like I said it right, but sounding it out, I could be completely off depending on how this person goes by the pronunciation of it. mind clicking on the YouTube video, but for what, right?
Wojcicki.
What?
Wojcicki.
Pershkowski.
Wojcicki.
Pershkowski. It's with an I at the end, though.
Wojcicki.
Pershkowski. I can't hear the way he sounded.
Wojcicki.
Pershkowski. What's wrong with that, Pershkowski? Pershkowski joined the crowd and ran into a barricade. Unsure how she would escape. Police said the caller told 911 operators there was a shooter inside one of the campus buildings. There was a specific description of somebody with, like I said, an AK rifle, semi-automatic. Well, that's full automatic, but said the DA. Authorities are now working to identify the caller. We are at the part of the investigation. We are going to find out who did this and hold them accountable. They said, so the DA explained that the tactic used is known as swatting, a false report intended to prompt a large police response. It's very dangerous. It's very dangerous, he said, adding that swatting is both a state and federal crime. I did not know that. People think there is no harm, no foul, and that's 100% inaccurate, said Flanagan. Flanagan said his department is working with the district attorney office and the FBI to find the caller. So they're finding the caller, trying to get some information. They don't know who said it. They don't know. They had a whole SWAT team get to the... I bet that's probably one of the fastest times they got to the school, too. I'm talking, they got a lot of people for that, man, active shooter. It's crazy. So, but it was a cruel hoax. And I thought it was interesting because Villanova University, besides sports, I don't know what the school is known for. And so it was interesting to see this because, you know, you do have to be aware for your safety when staying on campus. Because a lot of people like to stay on campus but never think about the potential harm that can happen to you. I know it's not something you really think about. It does pop up when you type into school. Interesting. So, and Villanova is a research university. I don't know if they're research 1 or 2. And they're based in Pennsylvania. They have a very low acceptance rate, which is pretty good, very selective. I knew they were very expensive. They are private. Villanova is private. A private Catholic research university on top of that. I did not know they were Catholic. Interesting. And so, I figured they were private. Very expensive, it looks like. But we'll break them down later on. That's going to be our review on my pendant. So, review. And I'm finna talk more, guys. I'll just write this down. So, Villanova University. So, guys, when you stay on campus, or you're thinking about staying on campus, you should definitely be aware of and weigh out the options. I feel like, you know, of course, if you are going to a 2-year, you don't have to worry about this. You should be staying off campus at a 2-year or staying at home. But for people who are considering to stay on campus, you should consider, like, am I safer if I stay at home? Am I safer if I stay on campus at a college? I don't know. With the recent activity, guys, like, you type in on Google, like, students, not being safe on the college campus, things will pop up. I know recent stories happen all the time with active shooters, but not active shooters. Just things that happen, man, on college campuses that you should think about and weigh out when trying to go to school at a university, thinking it's just the safest, when most times it's not the safest. Why I bring this up is because you're paying so much money to stay on campus at a college that you don't really factor in, like, am I paying enough for my safety? Are they going to keep me safe? And how do they prepare for things like this, right? I didn't have to worry about this because I didn't stay on campus. I stayed off campus, At a time we're in now, like, we have active shooters that go into schools, K-12 schools. They go on college campuses. They go in public spaces. They go in popular areas of those public spaces. And so you should definitely factor in, like, in these times right now, like, really think about it, which builds my case of why you should start a 2-year, bridge to 4-year, and why you should stay off campus the whole time. Because honestly, it's most likely in your favor to just stay off campus and stay in your own apartment. Have roommates, of course, because you're just safer. Now, I know you might think, like, with roommates, am I safer? Like, usually, yeah. But that's a whole nother rabbit hole for my people out there who are in the criminal justice field, who like talking about things like, oh, you safe with roommates? That's a whole nother rabbit hole. But really weigh it. Really think about it. Like, off campus, on campus, am I safer off campus? Am I safer on campus? Weigh them out. Or do you really want to pay? Like, do you really want to pay about, depending on the school you at, $2,000 to $5,000 per semester, which is probably like $10,000 total to stay on the campus? It's not that much of a difference in rent. You know, rent just month to month. You get a little part-time job, which leads us into our next one about students staying on campus and working, because most students work in college. But we're gonna break it down a little more about why students are working while they're in college, because students working in college wasn't always a thing. I remember definitely for sure when I was coming out of high school in 2017 that people were like, at one point, I guess before things changed, people were like, it's hard to work and balance school. Now I talk to younger people now or my age who go to school. Everybody has either a part-time job or full-time job while going to school, because people still feel that higher education is not worth it. So they're like, I might as well work and make money since my education holds no value, essentially. But since my education holds no value, I still, for some reason, will go to an expensive school since my school doesn't have no value. Oh, I'm only going to this school because they have connections. Whatever makes you get through the day. Because if I feel like my education has no value, I'm not going to pay an arm and a leg to go to that school. That's just common sense. Let's keep going. So this article right here is by Best Colleges. It's I like Best Colleges. They have pretty good articles, guys. When I was making short form videos, they were who I would get some information from. Before I went to graduate school, I would go to them a lot because I knew they had stats, data, and they were pulling their data. Before I went to graduate school, where I learned to go pull if I want to get data for myself and look at it. But I don't really show you data yet, or we don't look at really data much stuff because you can't see it. I want you to be able to see it. So I don't want you to just hear me rapple about percentage. It's gonna be gibberish. I want you to see it. So most college students work while enrolled. Most college students work while enrolled. Now, I know I put college students build wealth while employed. They do, though. They do. Most college students work while enrolled. They said here is how it's impacting their grades and well-being. So that's just the headline. But we about to get into it. And it's written by somebody named Matthew Erojas, I believe. Let's see. I'm going to type that in. Excuse me, y'all. And of course, Erojas. I think it really is Erojas. In a few seconds, y'all. You did not? See, that's why you can't trust. See? You see? See how they do me? I type it in and then take me to it. You see how they do me, y'all? Type it in, then it take me to it. Browser. Google. I get yawning, y'all. There must be yawning on the live screen. Somebody must be yawning because I'm yawning. Oh, the pronunciation. All right. But the person's name is Matthew. And Matthew wrote this article. This was on August 15th, 2025. It says right here, nearly 70% of undergrads are juggling jobs while in school. Okay, that sounds about right. And most are working more than 20 hours a week. That sounds about right. A new report reveals how work impacts academics, campus engagement, and basic needs. All right. So college students routinely work at least 20 hours per week. 20 hours per week while in school. These are more like the bullet points. So let's get into it. It starts pretty fast. Yeah, we'll start with that. Working more than 20 hours per week is consistently linked to lower academic performance. Now, I don't know how true about that is because I've been working 20 hours or more per week because they say 20 hours per week because if you're part-time, you're going to work 20 hours per week, right? But I've been working 20 hours or more per week since 2020 because I went to the reserves in 2020. So it's times where my weeks could go over like 20 hours. But then when I start working full time, I'm definitely working over 20 hours. But the thing about this is why I say data sometimes doesn't really think about data is strictly focused on data, like really by the book, right? It's very numeric, but it's very by the book. You have to factor in the qualitative because data gives you the quantitative, but the qualitative behind okay, working more than 20 hours per week is consistently linked to lower academic performance, the report states. But it says suggesting that the demanding work schedules of worker-first students may directly hinder their academic incomes. I know they're trying to say worker-first students. They just come up with words as they come sometimes. But it says right here that, what's this? They have a little chart, which I can see it. They said percentage of working students. And then it's, 19% of students work less than 20 hours. 38% of students work, 38% of students work, 38% of students work 20 to 39 hours, and I'm part of that 43%. It says 43% of students work 40 or more hours. So I'm definitely in the 43% category. I know some people who definitely are in that 38%, and I know some people who definitely in that 19%. It says this data exemplifies the changing landscape of who the typical college student has become in recent decades. It says long gone are the days when the typical college student devoted 100% of their time to studies. Yes, that is very long gone. And what I was getting at with the qualitative and quantitative. So quantitative, of course, they're going to give us the straight data and what people are doing now and not doing. But people need to understand there's a whole nother aspect of researching that comes in with the qualitative. And the qualitative is giving you more like the behavior. So you might have students who are having lower or showing that it's linked to lower academic performance. But then again, there could be another study showing you the qualitative part of some jobs will let you do your schoolwork at work. Now, they said right here, working more than 20 hours. If you work more than 20 hours, depending on where you work, it all depends on, this is why I say it all depends on who you are sometimes. That's why I don't go strongly off data on a lot of things, or at least numeric. I go off data, but not strongly numeric. because it all depends on the person sometimes. Like I can see they saying the majority, like your job might not let you do your schoolwork at work, but I just know people and humans, and humans are going to do schoolwork if they really don't want to do it later or on the weekend. If they feel like they can squeeze it in, they're going to do their schoolwork. They're going to do their schoolwork at work. And so, especially if they have a slow day like a Friday or Thursday or Friday Eve on Thursday, they're probably definitely going to spend some time doing their schoolwork and trying to knock it out early. At least start on it, right? Sometimes it's not even about completing the schoolwork. Sometimes it's just about starting on the schoolwork. And so, as we keep going, it says, we read that part. It says, relatedly, 56% of working students said their job interferes with their ability to take part in activities or social events at their college or university. That's true. That's true. My last job definitely interfered. My last job interfered with doing things like social events at the college or university. Now, you just have to plan ahead, but you have to think. Sometimes the college is not even telling you soon enough. And sometimes your job wants to know like in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, or, they want to know sooner. And then sometimes you be like, they just sent this out like, or at least I saw it, but they just sent this out like a day ago. But the event is taking place today. So it's like, will your job let you go? And it's like, sometimes your job won't let you go. It all depends on your setup. Like, is your supervisor gonna let you go? It all depends on the setup. As we keep going, it says right here that the Trellis report, is that why do I call it Trellis report? Trellis report also helps highlight how working students pay for college differently from other students. Oh yeah, this my stuff right here. So working students are more likely to take out. It says working students are more likely to take out student loans, use credit cards, or dip into personal savings to help pay for their education. They are less likely than non-working students to receive support from parents or other family members. They are less likely than non-working students to receive support from parents or other family members. Yeah. So they're saying like us who work while we're in college, we don't have support from parents or family members. Usually we don't. Like, we have support, but not in a money per se. Like, I say stay at home if you're going to start a 2-year college. And I say that because you can stay with your mom or your dad. They're not giving you money, but they're helping you in another way. So your parents are supporting you in that way. Now, in some cases, some people don't even have that. Some people got to get their own apartment, maintain their apartment, get a job, maintain their job, get a car, maintain their car, and go to school. And I would say that was me. I didn't really want to rely on my parents. Like, I relied on my mom, for those 2 years when I was at my 2-year college. And then I decided to take that leap and didn't want to rely on her and living with her. So I decided to move. You don't have to do this, but I decided to move when I was going to my university school and I transferred. I decided to get an apartment off campus. And I decided I had a car. And then all I did was put my clothes in trash bags. For anybody that really moves and does it on their own, we put our clothes in trash bags because it's easier to carry them. And so put them in trash bag. Didn't take that many. I only took clothes based on season. And so put them in a trash bag, put them in the trunk, the SUV. Damn, Miss Betty. Put them in my silver Betty, that Hyundai Santa Fe 03 I had. That car lasted me a long time. If I wasn't driving so much, it probably still would be here. And so, and that's what I did. And so at that point, I didn't have to really rely. I was paying rent. What else I did? I paid rent, bills, phone bill. I always pay my phone bill, rent, whatever, right? But then I had car maintenance all the time. Like, my car was getting old to the point where I was just fixing up on the same stuff. And so that was constantly like killing me too, guys. I was really having expenses while being a college student. And I still was able to pay my school Like I was still able to pay prices on things in school or not in school. Like I'm talking about like $5,000 items or $1,500 items. Just taking the money from my job and just cash flowing and setting it aside and budgeting. Like budgeting is so good, it gives you like a pay raise when you budget. And to get back on this, because they said like you're likely if you are a if you are a working student, you're not going to have that much support from parents and family members, which is true. And so, one thing I disagree with so far, it says student loans taken out by student. It says right here that working students are more likely to take out student loans, which makes no sense to me because if I'm working, I'm taking the money from my job and I'm paying it toward my school. So I don't have to take out student loans. And I don't get that. And they're saying that the non working are less likely to pull out student loans, which is true because their parents are probably paying for it or whoever is supporting them is paying for it. But the working student saying that they're more likely to pull out loans, uh, I get it. But if you work, you should be taking the money from your job. You should be taking the money from your job to pay for your student loans. That's how I feel. Like that's what I did in graduate school. Of course, like I say, use your resources. I had tuition assistance, which sliced my tuition by like it sliced my tuition by like half. So instead of me paying like 25, I'm paying like 16, 1800. They be fluctuating sometimes for some reason. They be fluctuating. So 1600 to 1800, that's still $1,600 or $1,800. But that's not hard to save up and make to pay for school the next semester. Like if you know you got school next semester and you potentially are gonna have to pay out of pocket, you just need to go ahead and save like that amount. And then or if you know you're gonna have like assistance, save up for that amount when you know the assistance will be applied. That's like for example, I always say make sure your purchasing power is in the your purchasing power should be from I don't know why I never said that, but I always say 2 to 3 thousand. I like my purchasing power to be 2 to 3 thousand. But you want your purchasing power to be from 1 to 3,000 because you know it's easy. You keep cash flowing and have a right job that's paying you decently and right. And these are more like, as you see, these are more like behavioral things. Like you can't get a decent job if you don't have the certain behaviors, right? Because that's all part of organizational leadership and liberal arts. See, some people think that you gotta have the skills to get certain jobs, like only the skill, and that's true in some industries of a job. Like you just need the skill, but a lot of times, if you don't have a skill, what job can you get? And so, like I tell people, I used to work the front desk. That was my skill, working front desk. Why? Because I'm really good at talking to people. I really understand people. I feel like it's one of my skills. That's one of my great skills. I can talk people down. I can talk people into what they should do and just calm down. I don't know how. I just understand people. I think it's based on how I grew up, but just understand and listen to people. When people tell you something and they're really opening up, listen to them. Don't try to say yes, yes, I understand, then try to get them a card or what. Like they don't. That's sometimes it takes somebody they need to vent at least for 15 minutes, 10 to 15. Then they'll know when they feel like they know when they feel like they overrun your time. We're not. It's not no secret anymore. They know, and so. But with that being said, I don't agree with students who are working taking out student loans because you don't need to take out student loans. The only reason a working student is probably taking out student loans again too. Remember, started 2 year, bridge to 4 year, like and subscribe. Started 2 year, bridge to 4 year, and like and subscribe. The only reason these students are probably taking out student loans is because they're probably going to a school they can't afford, and now they gotta get a job, and then now they're like, this job I don't have, guys. This job I have can't even pay for my school. How much is your school? I don't know. You don't know how much your school is? No. Are you gonna look it up and see? Oh, like, why did you go to the school? You don't even know how much the school is. Then you went to the school is 20 grand a year, if not more. The school is 20 grand a year. Your job pays you freaking maybe $500 to $1,000, depending where you work part time. And if you full time, they probably pay you like, if you're getting paid monthly, you probably getting about 2,000 to 3,000, maybe, or 2,000 to 4,000 range. I don't know, but so yeah, that's kind of hard to pay for in cash if you need to, or pay half of 10,000. To pay half of 20,000, that's, you still need 10,000. So guys, that's why I say strategically you need to make sure that your purchasing power, and that's, you need to make sure your school is within your purchasing power. That's why I say start at a 2-year and bridge to a 4-year, and go to a 4-year that has that same purchasing power, because it's easy to save up 1,000. It's easy to save up. Let me not say easy. It's doable to save up 1,000. It's doable to save up 2,000. It's doable to save up 3,000. Stretching it, and then if you rent to a school, they charge you $3,500 a semester. The 500 cushion ain't that bad, but getting to 4,000, 5,000, 6,000, because you got to think. Now, if you want a quarter system, I don't recommend going to school on quarter systems. I like semesters, because semester gives me August, September, October, November, December. And then it gives me 5 months to save up to that 1,000 to 3,000 range. I explained that pretty good. I like that. And so that's why I always did that. And it works. It's a beautiful blueprint that works. And so it's just real small steps. But you have to be what? You have to have good behavioral practices. Like, you have to be very in tune with yourself a little bit. This is more of, like most say, this is not about math. This is just more about you being good as a human being to be able to get a debt-free degree, or to strive for a debt-free degree, right? You have to be able to understand you cannot afford a college, point blank. You need to understand that you don't have all the resources to go to that school. What I mean, you need to understand, like, if you don't qualify for financial aid, if you do not qualify for financial aid, you need to know, like, you don't have financial aid as a resource to help pay for school. You need to understand that you don't have the VA to help pay for school. You need to understand that you didn't get no scholarships to go to school. You need to understand that you have no resources, so the only way you can go to school is by paying for it out of your own pocket. You have to have that realization with yourself. You can't say, oh, I just want to go to this school and not have no real meaning behind it. That's why a lot of students, frankly, flunk out of college. They don't flunk out because their grades are bad. No. They flunk out because they put a lot of extreme, that's what I write about, guys. They put a lot of extreme pressures on themselves. And so if you go to a school, right, you pick a school, the price is high, but you don't care, that's already gonna be a pressure point for you. Now you worry about how to pay for school. Then you didn't really pay attention to if the school fit your culture when you did a campus tour. Because going to schools that fit your culture of personality is really big. Like, we were recently talking about a particular college that I used to work at. If you pay attention, it's in the background right now, and it's not a 2-year. We was talking about a particular college that how they're structured to be, like, kind of micromanaging and very, not really good human personality, chillness. They have, like, you can have chillness and still get your job done. But they're more like uppity, micromanaging, da-da-da. That's how they run it a little bit at the school, like beep, 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 beep. So, every school has a different culture. That's really important. It's called campus climate. Campus climate, if I'm not mistaken. Is it campus climate? Climate. I don't care. I promise you, some words people look up. I'm wondering. Yeah, campus climate refers to the prevailing altitudes, behaviors, standards, and environmental factors experienced by individuals within a university or community college. So, guys, that matters. Like, I went to a 2 year, so I was conditioned to I was conditioned to be like, I can get my job done and it doesn't have to be somebody looking over my shoulder. It doesn't have to be I have to have all these resources. I was conditioned to get my job done using in-house products, right? I can't reach that right now. Like using in-house products, right? Learning to keep everything in the ecosystem, be organized. That's like the 2 year, I would say 2 year culture, at least in Georgia. And so it's I liked it, that culture happily. I just happened to like that. And so when I went to my 4 year, it was similar the same way. It was like when I took classwork and did classwork, they were like conditioning me to be doing what the same thing in my coursework, because your coursework exemplifies who the school is too and what you believe. So all that matters. So going back to the data, it says let's get to the next one. Students pulling out. So they said students paying for a student. Don't use credit cards to pay for your college education, guys. Don't do that. Credit cards, no. Like if you are to take out a loan, take out the loan from the federal government, like by the Department of Education, because because credit cards have these things called interest rates, APY, and all this fancy stuff, and pretty much it can move and it can fluctuate, and you can be paying a lot more on that credit card. Don't don't do that. Just go and get the loan from the Department of Education, which is under your financial aid. If you are to take out a loan, if you are personal savings, most certainly. Most certainly. A working student to use their personal savings to pay for college, for sure. And that's higher than students taking out student loans. It's 45% that a working student will, it's higher that a working student will use their personal savings to pay for college. I won't say personal savings, I use my emergency fund. Because guys, like I said, you should really look into people who teach financial channels, I guess, on YouTube, or you should really ask your professors about being financial savvy, because I don't keep my savings in my bank account. I keep my emergency fund in my bank account, and that's what I use to pay for college. And I think everybody should take that same approach, but you have to be very savvy, and you can't be a tangible person. And like I say, disclaimer, not a financial advisor, because that is a very big deal. But I definitely do that, and that's why I say you should go to school if you don't have no support. That's why I say you should go to a school you should go to a school that has a school that's in your purchasing power, $1,000 to $3,000, because your emergency fund in your bank account is, what's that one I'm trying to say? Your emergency fund in your bank account doesn't really give you, it's not gonna grow as fast as if your money is invested. But 1,000 to 3,000, we good. So just keep, like, it just helps like stacking it. This for my emergency fund. Not to mention if you got a car, so then you never know, somebody go wrong with your car. You're a college student, having that emergency fund. I do advise making that separate, having like a maintenance emergency fund for your car. So when you got your emergency fund for school, you got it for school, groceries, and all that jazz, however you want to set it up. Then you got your emergency fund for your car. You got that set up separate. It could be still in the same bank account, just in a separate like savings account. That's a good setup for a college student, because college students normally run into main problems with car maintenance. That's a common problem. And I know I had a good few of them while I was in college. I was on the side of the road a lot. A lot. Early 20 stuff, man. Still be on the side of the road sometimes. You just can't predict car things. And so this was a very short little article. It's done. But I was breaking it down. I can't wait to show you guys stuff, because upgrades are coming soon to the studio. Can't wait. And I gotta keep saying it because speak it, say it, believe it, man. What? Ooh, hey, who? Yeah. So the next one we're gonna talk about a university drops PBS. Guys, I don't believe I grew up on PBS. And a lot of people frankly did. But I do know they used to show PBS. Let me ask. Al, didn't they used to show PBS in school? Like K through 12 when we was in school? Yeah. So they used to show PBS in school. I didn't go home and watch it. But they did show it in school. Cause I started thinking about it. I was like, I didn't watch PBS coming up. But I started thinking about it just now, and I'm like, PBS. You know how you say something, your brain starts getting it, starts soaking in. And I was like, oh, they used to show us PBS things in school when I was in K through 12. So a university drops PBS. Why did this university, I'm going to say university name, why did this university drop PBS? Why it's really important? Because PBS shows like history, unfiltered, filtered. They show like everything you need to know, the truth. Yes, Caillou. Wasn't Hey Arthur on PBS? And Sesame Street? So they don't show Hey Arthur no more on PBS? What, PBS? PBS ain't gone. They just not getting funded, right? It's gone. Is it really gone? So, university ditches PBS. So the university that ditched PBS was Eastern Illinois University. Eastern Illinois University will drop WEIU TV's affiliation with the Public Broadcasting Service, which is known as PBS. The Public Broadcasting Service, after Congregational Republicans cut funding for the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, which will cost the station 80% of its operating budget starting in October. It says the change is meant to ensure broadcast journalism students can still work on a newscast and weather programming. So I think did I blow this up? Let me see. I probably got it up here, just didn't realize it. Nope, I don't. It's my first time doing that. So as we do that, guys. So, all right, August 20. Before I even read this, hopefully I'm in the right direction. This was posted August 20th, 2025. This is posted by IPM News. So, Eastern Illinois University. Guys, you probably know I'm sorry. I think they're coming to get me. But something to keep in mind, guys. Real quick, I seen people been coming in and out. Appreciate the people coming in and out. So, the reason for this university, Eastern Illinois University, I'm assuming potentially theoretically hoping that the reason that they did this was because we said it like a few live streams ago that if you are working with something that the Trump administration / Department of Education does not feel is right, your school can be punished. And when your school gets punished or the business or entity gets punished, that affects the workers and that's going to affect the students. So, prime example with Eastern Illinois University, they said they announced that they would end its affiliation with Public Broadcasting Service, known as PBS. They will end its affiliation with them following the elimination of the federal funding from the Corporation of Public Broadcasting, which will officially end on September 30th. So, usually the reason why this university did this was because, to put this in good terms, the university did this because they don't want the students being affected. If the school is still working with PBS, for example, then the school can lose their funding. And then if the school lose their funding, the students can't do anything pertaining to, the students won't have the funds to go do what they need to do. That makes sense. So if the school lose funding, which that funding could have been specifically, let's just say for the broadcast journalism program that they have at Eastern Illinois University. So the funding that was going to be for them and for that program could be taken away because they're still working with PBS. So it's like, hey, cut your ties with them if you still want your funding. And so this allows students to go work with other journalism broadcasting places. Now, do I think it's right? That's not up to me. That's for the public to determine. So as we keep going, it says, according to university leaders, the shift in WEIU TV's funding model ensures EIU students retain access to the most critical components of their broadcast journalism and news media production learning experiences at EIU. It says the university said in a statement, this includes its student newscast, Newswatch, and related weather programming, which remains central to EIU academic mission. It says currently PBS accounts for approximately 25% of WEIU TV's programming. It says the station has identified other programming programming options to replace its existing PBS content. It says WEIU TV plans to drop its PBS brand affiliation and officially operate as a service of Inter-Illinois University. The elimination of federal funding comes to a loss of more than $790,000, nearly 80% of the station's overall annual operations budget. Dang. It says, however, the change does not impact WEIU, which I don't know what WEIU is. It's definitely got the school initials in there, Eastern Illinois University, but that W must be like weather or something. But it says, which is licensed separately and not affected by the elimination of the federal CPB funding. But it says right here, federal funding to the Corporation for Public Broadcasting, CPB, was discontinued in July following the recessions at the 2025. Let me go look at that. Yep, they took me directly to congress.gov. So congress.gov, guys, is something you can go look at. It's something you can go check if you want to go look at all of the, I said recessions. Rescissions. Did they say recessions? No, they said rescissions. Yeah, Rescissions Act. I think that's a Rescissions Act they said. But this was passed. Usually they tell you when it got passed, but it's definitely law. It passed the House on June 12, 2025. But these came fast. These were fast. When I say like the One Big Beautiful Bill and everything else was going fast, everything was going fast. But I'm going to read this. This is the Rescissions, I believe Rescissions Act. I'm going to read this definitely when I get out of here. I thought it's important. It is important, but like really, I should read it.
Rescission.
Yeah, rescission. The revocation, cancellation, or repeal of a law, order, or agreement. Cancellation, repeal, reversal, recall, voiding. You get the gist of it. And so, yeah. So this school has done that because, like I said, you can't have this school, Eastern Illinois University, can't have Eastern Illinois University actually used to work in collaboration with PBS. So they pretty much dropped them. But of course we know PBS is gonna go away, as we said before. But these schools have to do this, guys, because like I said, it can mess up their funding. As we see now, Eastern Illinois University, I don't think they're really that much of a big school. And I've never heard of them like how I hear about other schools. Eastern Illinois University. It's in Charleston, Illinois, or Charleston, Illinois, whichever one. It's a comprehensive public university in Charleston, Illinois. I believe it's public. Yeah, public. It didn't say it was private. It says it has a broad range of curricula leading to bachelor's and master's degrees within its 4 colleges. And so you get the gist of it, guys. But they have to do these certain things, which I know people don't like to hear. They have to do these certain things because if they're working with things the administration does not like, that can affect their funding, their federal funding. And we already talked about all the time that states don't really give funding to these schools either. And then if it's definitely on the local level has to rely on the state, money. And if the state doesn't give much money, the local really ain't got much money to give. Go from state, local to, federal, executive level. And so if the federal is like, we can give you money because you still working with PBS or trying to work with PBS, and we said PBS is no good. That's what the administration pretty much said. PBS is no good, really. And so since the federal said, we taking your funding, then the state, they have to rely on the state. They have to rely on the state, but the state might have different priorities of where they want to allocate money to, like healthcare, um, industrials, technology, or whatever the case, right? To whatever the workforce needs in that state to keep their economy going, to help everything else go in sync with the other states, the other 49 states in the world. So we have to really keep that in mind. And so, do I think that the school should have dropped PBS? I think the school did what they should have done as a school to protect their students. Because if they don't have federal funding, that can, for one, hurt the program. Because then they can't do certain things, and then they can't advance the program and do what they need to do, like the research or do broadcasting things. That makes the program unique and very good for students, so they can go off and do their careers. Then it hurts the school. So then when the program is not advancing and it's stagnant, it loses students. Then when they lose students and students don't want to go to that program, then it's going to lose students, then it's losing money, the program. And then once they figure the program is losing students and money is declining, they cut the program. It's that simple. It really goes in that fashion or order. It's really simple. That's why I like higher education. It's really simple. Um, if you have students, y'all doing good work. You have professors, instructors, whichever term you want to use. I know it's different, but if you have professors that are really doing their job and the students are listening, everybody working together, they're advancing that program, like at EIU, Eastern Illinois University, then you're gonna have more students coming in, and they're expanding. When you're expanding, it's a little hard because you got to get used to the workloads going up, but it's good when the school is expanding, getting more students and everything like that, right? So the school is just trying to do what's best for them right now, making a decision for the students. I feel like this decision was very much for students. So shout out to Eastern Illinois University, because they could have been like, we're not dropping the PBS, and times are going to be hard, as they would tell their students sometimes. But they just chose to, like, hey, we need to keep this funding that we do have, wherever funding they do have. And like I said, a lot of schools are not in a good position as well, especially universities, because universities have a declining enrollment number. And that is, they don't really have a leverage to be like, we can rely on our students and charge our students more, because then you got that other part in what's going on in higher education. And that higher education, or at least at universities, is too expensive. So you already have parents and students who don't even like that part of it. And so, yeah. And we keep going, yeah. So those are the three things I wanted to talk about. Now we're going to do a review on Villanova University, because they did a cruel hoax. Somebody pranked the school. So we're going to review them on the closeout. What we at right now? Oh, we did good. I did not want to stay long, hold nobody for a long time today. Sunday, we should be on Tuesday. We will be on Tuesday. Hopefully, traffic is not bad. Traffic be killing me sometimes, y'all. Traffic be killing me sometimes. We're going to be good, though. We're going to be good. First day of school is tomorrow, which is crazy. First day of school is tomorrow. First day and last day of the semester. Hey, first day, last day of the semester. It's crazy, bro. Graduate school. Who would have thought I'll be getting a master's degree? Who would have thought? Look at us. Who would have thought? All right, so let's do this. Let's look it up over here. University, tuition, and fee rates. They got Villanova. Hold on now. They might hold on. Hold on. Hold on. So Villanova University, guys, they have 7,005 undergraduates. Pretty much 7,000 students in undergraduate. They're a 4-year private, nonprofit, suburban, and they're located in the suburban area. That's what they're saying. They have a medium student population. They have an 89% graduation rate. That is very good. Ooh, ooh, that is good. They got an 89% graduation rate. Villanova University has an 89% graduation rate. That's a B. Okay, they rocking out. I like this right now. So the average annual cost to go to Villanova University is $45,000 a year annual cost. Let me fact check that. Because I'm on their school website as we speak. So, as we speak, they said right here, per them, which is crazy. They saying the per credit hour rate is about $3,801. Sheesh. Guys, when you go to a school that has a per credit hour of like $98 or $100, and you look at theirs and it's $3,881, what are y'all teaching? So Villanova must be doing some good stuff. I don't know, because once I say wait till you see their return on investment. So 338.81 times 12. You looking at, yeah. So you looking at about 46. Yeah, like they said on the college scorecard, you're looking at about 44 or 45 in average annual cost. But in tuition alone, you're looking at $46,000, guys, for a semester. But if you do times 2 in tuition for the year, you're looking at 93 grand for the year in education. So guys, if I do 93 grand, that's for a full year. If I do 93 times 4, if you graduate in 4 years, you're looking at about $372,000 to go to Villanova University alone in tuition. That does not include the dorms. That does not include the meal plans. That doesn't include none of that. And that doesn't include the fees. That's all straight tuition. But yeah. Because, yeah, right here it says semester. It said Villanova begins fall semester bills in July, due in August, and spring semester bills in November, due in December. Semester charges they said semester charges is about 35 grand. So they're saying right here in tuition, you're looking at about 35 grand. They're saying it on their school website. But I calculated it as a 12 per credit hour student. But they're saying right here that you're looking at 35 grand per semester. So just something to keep in mind. And they got the other fees as well. But I'm not really going to go that far. I think you get the gist of it, what you're looking at. But, and that's for the, so yeah. Yeah. Let me see. They got a chart. We're going to do the cost of attendance as well. I love when they do that. So for the 2025 to 2026 academic year, I see you. We're going to say the traditional undergraduate full-time day program on the off-campus student. So as that's about what I got. Yeah, about that same number. They're saying for direct costs, indirect costs, they're saying that for the total estimated cost of attendance for an academic year, you're looking at about 93 grand. That's about what I did. So 93 times, oh my bad guys, hold on. 93,000 times 4 is about, $372,000 for 4 years at the school if you graduate in 4 years. And so, yeah, that's how much you're looking at for a full year at Villanova University. You're looking at 93 grand. So if you are a ball player and you went to this school, I gotta say that if you're a ball player that went to this school on a full ride, I would have got my degree from here, because the fact that I'm going to school here and it's 93 grand, man, my goodness. And why does this matter? I'm gonna show you why this matters. Because they're saying, guys, which is very good. The College Scorecard is saying that you, within 10 years of graduating from Villanova University, that you will make, in 10 years, you will make about, in 10 years of being removed, based on it says, based on you being a financial aid student, you will make about 100 grand. 100 grand if you go to Villanova University. That's what they're saying. You will make 100 grand. After 10 years being removed from the institution, you're going to be making either about 100 grand under that, or you're going to be making over 100 grand. Let's see who Villanova alumni are, because that is a very high number. I mean, let me see who are they, because Villanova sounds really, they sound really respected. They sound like they doing some stuff, actually. John L. Hennessy went to Villanova. Chairman and board of directors of Alphabet. So he is still alive. So John Leroy Hennessy is an American computer scientist and chairman of Alphabet Inc., known as Google, guys, by the way. Alphabet is Google. Hennessy is one of the founders of MIPS Technologies and Atheros, ATHEROS. I'm gonna put that in the chat for you all if you play this back. Put this back in the chat real quick. I just want to look at their noble alumni right quick. Serving as the 10th president. Serving as the 10th president of Stanford University from 2000 to 2016, and it says he was succeeded as president by Mark Tesser Levigan. I think I said that right. So, and he's written some books as well. Interesting, but I believe he's very techie. Sounds like John L. Hennessy. Interesting. We'll look more into that. So John L. Hennessy, Howie Long. Who is Howie Long? Football defensive end. He went to Villanova. Paul Arizin. Tim Dunning. He's a referee, ain't it? Oh, he got sentenced to prison, actually. This referee, I think he was in a scandal for shaving points and stuff. But NBA referee Tim, imagine that, guys. A referee went to Villanova University. It's crazy. And became an NBA referee. I know NBA referees get paid pretty good. The NBA referee went to Villanova University. Keep that in mind. Just keep that in mind. But this guy, Tim Dunathy, if I said that right, I'm just going to put his name in there. And y'all should know what I'm talking about. I remember seeing him on something before, but he got in some trouble. And so we're going to go back to the review. I thought that was important because they're saying you can make about 100 grand if you leave the institution. I just think that's crazy, right? So let's keep going. But I do want to say this. You making about 100 grand or more after graduating from Villanova is pretty good because, it's kind of, because your education still will be about a house, literally a house. Your education would be about $300 and some $1,000. And so your education being $300 some $1,000, but you're only going to make about $100 some $1,000. It's still pretty good. But I'm assuming people who go to these schools, their parents got money, got wealth. Their parents got wealth. But to keep this in mind, you could be making about 100 grand if you go here. I'm just like, I don't usually see that. So let's go to the next thing. Graduation and retention rates. So like we said, they got an 89% graduation rate. Students who return after their first year is 96%. That's really good. They got nothing but A's and B's right now, guys. Villanova's got nothing but A's and B's. So students receiving federal loans is about 37%, almost 40%. They said the average debt you're gonna get going to Villanova University is about 26,000. That's gonna be your average debt if you go to Villanova University, most likely. Not what it will be, most likely. So okay, nothing crazy there. We already talked about the earnings, but this is really important. They say you have a 91% chance of making more than a high school graduate if you go to Villanova University. That's very high. You have a 90, you're more likely, you have a 91% chance of making more than a high school graduate if you go to Villanova University. It's very high. Most of the time we see 70s to 80s. That's very high. Close that. We don't need that. So test scores. Villanova University has a acceptance rate of 25%. Acceptance rate of 25%. Villanova University considers the SAT and ACT during the application process, but they don't require the SAT and ACT, which is interesting. But you have a 25% of getting in. It says students who were admitted to Villanova University enrolled typically had an admission test scores in these ranges. They're showing the ranges of the SAT and the ACT. And so, guys, with all that do said, why don't they require the SAT, ACT? Because I think they still need students as well. I don't know if Villanova University is having declines in their enrollment. Why? They're private. And they're a special destination for Roman Catholic as well. So I don't know if their enrollment is up. I don't know if their enrollment is down. I don't know. But as we keep advancing in the our content, of course, we will eventually do that. We would eventually keep looking at schools and go look at their past like enrollments because it's all public record. You can go look at on the school website and find that, oh, in the past, like the past 1 year, they had this many enrolled students, or they had this many students enrolled coming in, and then this upcoming year, this is how many they enrolled. Once they set in the data and put it all together, so you'll know if they're going up or down, or what they've been trending toward. So don't worry, guys, we're gonna be talking about all that. But right now, Villanova University. After all of that, where do I rank them right now? So guys, schools like these that cost about a house usually are considered elite, are supposed to be considered elite when they charge like $300,000 a year. I don't know what Villanova specializes in. I never heard of anybody saying they went to Villanova to do crazy studies or anything, guys. And I'm just being honest. I don't know what Villanova is known for. Like how I know the Stanfords, how I know like the MITs, the Georgia Techs, of what they're more specialized in. I don't know what Villanova really specializes in. And so do I feel like they're worth the prices that they're charging? I don't know. But once again, staying to the core, they're private. So you go here, you should know what these prices are potentially when you're trying to go to a private school. And this is Villanova University. So Villanova University, I'm going to rank them a C. Why am I ranking them a C? I'm ranking Villanova University as C because, like I said, I don't know them. I don't know what they're known for. But what I can say, they have great graduation rates. The only reason I made them a C is because this channel is built on like affordable colleges. Like, would I transfer here? No, I wouldn't transfer here based on my situation and the background I was coming from. Now, you might want to transfer here after your 2 year, but I wouldn't transfer here when I'm leaving my 2 year. Like I said, I just don't know what they're known for. And at least academic wise, I wasn't an athlete. Maybe another person on another channel could break down why they would go here. They might be an athlete. I wasn't an athlete in college. So, my financial aid wouldn't have covered this, So yeah, I wouldn't transfer here. And I get them a C though on the bright sides because they have a high graduation rate, 89%. You can have a potential high return on investment, potentially. And yeah, that's pretty good. And it's just a C because like it's passing. But like I said, to me, I wouldn't transfer here. I'll just go to a school that's close to them that has similar prices to my 2 year or just a little more pricier. And then I'll just kick it with the Villanova students and use and get connections through them. But I'm not gonna go to their school. So they see they doing great work. It seems like they're doing great work according to the college scorecard. So they see they passing, but you know, passing accredited, they not failing. So, but if they prices were like, the way I see it, if their prices were a little like, look, you know me, man, it can't be 6 figures, man. Like, it was like you can get about, you might pay about for the cost of attendance in the 1 year. Like, if it was part of, some people gonna say it's not realistic, but if they cost of attendance for 1 year was probably like 20,000. Let's say if it was 20,000, and that means I could do 20,000 times 4, which would be 80. Yeah, 80. And so if it was 80 grand for 4 years, and then you saying my return on investment could potentially be 100 grand within 10 years of being removed from the institution, yeah, school could be like an A. That could be like a smooth A, because my return on investment, like the price I pay for the school is gonna be higher, and the price that you paying for this school is still under. So like you're paying like your cost of attendance is still gonna be like $375,000 a year, but your potential median salary, like what you can potentially make in within 10 years of being away from the institution, you could be making over 100 grand or you could be under 100 grand. And so you're still paying a lot more for the school, but you're not making as much that you pay for the school. And I know it's like, but you will still be cash flowing, but you never know. Like, you probably have to take out way more loans just to potentially get the job that's going to pay you a lot of money. It's just high risk. You're trying to get a high risk, high reward. And I wouldn't even do that in the investment world. Disclaimer, not a financial advisor. But that's what you're doing essentially. You're trying to do a high risk, high reward. This is all potential. You never know what might happen in your 4 years of going to college. You never know. You know, like life things happen. Life events happen. That's all I'm going to leave it at. So, yeah, I rate them a C. If they want to come tell us what they're known for, like Villanova University, I would gladly be interested to know what they do and what they're known for and why they're pricing their college at $375,000 for a 4-year attendance if you graduate 4 years. So that would be interesting for us to listen to and know. But I just feel like that's a lot of money. That's a house, guys. That's probably a nice house. That's probably a very nice house. So I'm gonna end it there. Appreciate everybody who attended the live stream. We got out at our time. We did it. We cut it perfect. Right at hour and 23. We said hour and 30. We got in and got out. Appreciate you. See you Tuesday. Salute. Peace. Chicken grease.